We've got a few other things quickly to cover, and then that would actually bring us to the end of this. Very important, DMAIC is a very, very powerful Lean and Six Sigma tool and technique that we can really use practically. Quickly, I'll try and give you a gist of what it is and how it can be used. DMAIC stands for define, measure, analyze, improve, and then control. So that's what really stands for: define, measure, analyze, improve, control. So it's essentially a very powerful kind of iterative. It goes again, continuous improvement, right? It's an iterative tool set. So what do you mean by define? You define the business problem. You state the business problem or the problem in a way that is affecting the customers or users, the real stakeholders, not for yours or mine, but for the who has got the problem basically. And that's where the fishbone diagram that we have just seen, or the 5 whys that we've had, Ishikawa, root cause, that all of these different techniques would really help us get to the right problem, the business problem, or the problem statement. What is known now, what the customers or users think, what are the people who have got the problem thinking, what are the objectives and goals, what are the constraints that we're operating in, what is it, what is in, what is out, the scope. You can always create some kind of boundary. You can't obviously have the perfect solution, because with technology you can do anything. I can create a mobile app starting now, and I can just work myself on a mobile app to solve COVID or something like that, and in the next maybe in about 10-15 years if possible. But is it, what is the thing, 10-15 years, is it a good time to actually kind of create a vaccine? No, it should be done right now, which in the next few weeks to next few months. So your scope is actually defined by the time frame. Somebody's scope is defined by what they can do. Somebody can be defined by the technology, the skill set, the tools. So you need to clearly have an understanding of the horizons, the what is in and what is out. And then for that we use what we call as terms of reference, which is basically a Prince2 tool. It came from Prince2, and it's called BOSCARD. Background, objectives, scope, constraints, actors, and then responsibilities and deliverables. Very, very powerful tool. We can discuss that some other time, but it's a good technique. We can use that in DMAIC. And once you define that problem statement, once you have a clear understanding of the problem definition, then you can start looking at what are the ways in which you can measure or assess whether you got the right one. So you need to set the baselines for performance. You need to understand which ways you can try and measure the outcomes from your efforts. And that's where the balanced business scorecard. Remember that the tool that we have had a go through about a few during the BA course the last month. We've gone through that, where we identified those 4 quadrants: customers, learning, internal processes, and finance. So that's how we actually kind of these different quadrants. And then we identify the CSFs, the critical success factors, the key progress indicators, KPIs, and then the performance targets. We actually set these clearly as to what we are measuring. Are we measuring customer satisfaction? Yes. If you're measuring customer satisfaction, by how much should you change it? By about 30%. Is it now, or in the next year, or in the next 10 years? So by next year, by 2021 September, I would like to have a 30% growth or increase in the customer satisfaction based on the customer satisfaction survey that I do. That's the way you can define the CSFs and the performance targets. So set the baseline for performance. So for now we have got, let's say we've got a satisfaction of about 40%. We should achieve that to be about 70%. So that means a 30% increase by next year. So that's how we have to set the baselines and the targets. So what cannot be measured cannot be managed. Very, very, very important for us. Even in the way that we operate our personal and professional lives, it should be very important that you actually set a goal and then go after the goal. And that's where, again, certifications or these kind of things would really help, because you have a goal that I want to achieve this, that there's somebody else who is measuring your knowledge or measuring your skill and giving you a certificate, meaning that they have certified you, that they know that you know something about that subject, right? So that's where the IABA certifications, the CSM, Scrum Master certification, all of these would really help. And that's where we are helping anyway. So coming to that analysis, once you measure, once you know that this is the kind of situation that we need to have, these are the measures that we should have, then you need to analyze the problem, analyze the root cause again. Statistical quality control. I'm not sure how many of you know about ANOVA. It's a statistical tool. I did it back in 98 during my graduation statistics. So it's called analysis of variance. So it is basically a tool to a statistical technique to analyze the variance in different coefficient, different variables and different set of data. So a very powerful tool to give you the where the problem could potentially lie. So to solve a problem, first go to the root of a problem. You need to understand where the problem is, right? If you want to solve something, you need to acknowledge that there is a problem. And that's why you need to really get to the real depth, the real root of the problem. So you need to deploy some of the tools and techniques to have a quick dive deep, root cause analysis, fishbone, blah, 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 and then use processing, modeling, and other things to get to that. So refer to the data capture and measure step for analysis. So that's where we need to go back to the some of the techniques, some of the tools used in the previous step. So the measure, the CSFs and all that. And once you analyze, you come with, you have a clear idea about the problem, not just a problem, but also the root cause of why that problem is coming. Therefore, it's easy for you to take steps to solve the problem. So is the problem because we do not have enough skills in the team? Is it because the customer is not giving the right feedback? Is it because the requirements are created wrongly in Jira? So it can be anything. So based on that, we can try and improve that. We can come with ways to solve the problem. And that's where we can add more and more detail and give elaboration for that. That's why we should then come up with various options, come up with the best solution that would help address the problem, and then start trying to implement that particular problem. Could result in removing the problem or reducing its impact. So that's the whole idea of why we need to improve. And once you do that, the whole idea is to control. Once you improve that, once you have a solution, then you need to actually kind of look at how effective the solution is and try and implement that continuously for continuous better results, not just at that point of time, but how can we broad base it for other customers, for other users across different situations. And that's where you need to assess the results and then look for ways to implement it on a continuous basis. And then we have to have some plans to keep it going for the next few years and decades. So control is basically a continuous process. And that's where we're talking about continuous development, continuous integration, and continuous delivery of our